Uptown Disco asked me to do, well, he didn't ask me to do a video. He just wanted to know about my riding history and how long I've been riding and what my bikes have been. So I'm gonna give you that now. The bike I learned on, outside of mini bikes and shit like that, which really in my mind don't count because you don't shift, was I don't know, 74 or 75 Suzuki TS 185, the silver one. No, it wasn't a 185, it was a 100, excuse me, two-stroke. That's where I cut my teeth. That's where I dumped the bike so many times that that was cool. My oldest brother taught me, and I remember that shit to this day. The getting going because I was so scared and didn't understand the clutch, and so when I finally, he'd run alongside of me to get me going, pushing me, and I dropped it several times. But yeah, that's the bike I learned on. And it was, back then they were called Enduros, not dual sports. It had blinkers and everything, but they were all stiff mounted, not like today where they're rubber mounted where they'll take some abuse. Yeah, so I broke off a couple blinkers. I'm sure you guys remember them days. And all the bikes back then had dual rear shocks. Yep. And finally, when I really got it going on that I could actually do some shit, not a whole lot, but he would ride next to me on 1976 TS 185 Suzuki, a yellow one, and he's the one that got me into bikes. So the next bike, well, my first bike actually was a 1973 Yamaha CT03 175. I'm going to try and find pictures and put them up here, but I haven't found any pictures of the 73 CT03 175. And those bikes had known problems with the bearing on the end of the kickstart shaft, and the bearings would keep going out. But I love that bike. But actually it really sucked because in the summertime here we're up around 90 degrees and stuff like that, and it was air cooled, and I'd ride the hell out of it, and then as I was going down the highways or whatever, it would get hot, and that would be the end of it. It would shut off, so I'd have to pull over to the side and wait for it to cool down. So that was all right. Actually, that's where I got in my first quote accident on a bike. I've never had an accident on the bike where it was an actual damn it, They're still closed. I've never had an accident on a bike where I actually hit somebody or something like that, but this bike was the closest thing to it. And I had a guy pull up next to me, and it funneled down to one lane, but I was in the main lane and he was in the merge lane, and he came over into me, and I kicked his door like 3 times, but I had a passenger on the back. And long story short, we went down, cop showed up, the ambulance showed up, and when the bike went down, it went down on the right side, and that's where the muffler was, and she got burned, and raspberries, you know, the road rash shit. And I got road rash, and it was pretty much just, you know, ugly. So it didn't wreck the bike. I think she went to the hospital in the rescue squad, and I picked up the bike, and the cop cited the other guy, and everything was good. Oh shit, the river's kind of high. I have to stop and show you this. So I picked up the bike and got it started, and I rode it to the hospital to check on her. And she was like my girlfriend from, I don't know, sophomore in high school. And she was a year younger than me. We dated for a long time, long time, till I decided I had to get the hell out of Omaha and go into the Navy. I just missed it. There was a badger going across the road. Yeah, the river's high as shit, but we're not gonna play that. So as I mentioned, those bearings kept going out. Yeah, and I'd rebuild it, and I rebuilt it. I did it like 3 times. And I don't remember what the hell I ever ended up doing with that bike. But basically, we trashed it. And then I bought the Bros Suzuki TS 185, the Suzuki. I bought it from him, and I had that bike for like 15 years. And when I moved, I loaded it up in the back of my Plymouth Arrow, my 76 Plymouth Arrow. Had to dismantle it and everything, laid it down in the back of the car, hauled it down to Mom and Dad's while I was waiting to get into the Navy, because I was on delayed entry program. Because I was going to be an electronics dude. So I had to wait for the school to open, or, you know, however all that bullshit works. And I didn't, I used to ride it down there in the rocks and everything, down in the Ozarks, down southern Missouri, in the Ozarks. And I went through so many flats and shit like that, it was just ridiculous. But that's alright. I know how to fix a flat with a tube, you know, just like a bicycle. So I went in 83, and I didn't get reunited with my bike until I transferred to Memphis in, what was it, 87. And then Dad loaded everything up in the pickup truck and everything I owned, and brought it over to me in Memphis. So that's when I got reunited with the Suzuki.